Hi everyone, Chris here with Huawei's new Watch GT5. They've got the new Watch GT series where there's a Pro model, 46mm and 42mm, and with this one, the Watch GT5, we get the 46mm that I will be covering in this video and a smaller 41mm version. So these watches, they have upgraded a lot of things in them, and the big push here is the accuracy of the information we get from this. There's no point having all of this fitness workout information if it's not accurate. So we've got TruSense with this, and I was one of the fortunate ones to go to China to the TruSense launch and even check out Huawei's laboratory where they do all that testing, and it's a really impressive setup. So with TruSense now, they have improved the accuracy across the board with all of the data, with all of the measuring. So that's the blood oxygen saturation levels, our continual heart rate monitoring. TruSense also covers True Sleep, which is our sleep tracking, and you even got the ECG on board with this. So that all has improved. They now have their sunflower antenna system. So GPS accuracy greatly improved. There's more professional running modes and a lot that they've packed into this watch that I'll be walking you through in this in-depth review and look at the Huawei Watch GT5 46mm version. Let's take a look at what is included inside the box with the Watch GT5. Obviously, we've got our watch right there. Under here, we have the wireless charger. Now, this is what we've seen with the previous models, so it just attaches magnetically. I'll just show you how that works. It latches into place underneath, so very easy to do, okay? And if you do get the Pro version, it will charge in 1 hour, so it's the faster charging with the Pro version. And then located here on the right-hand side, we have a quick start guide. So the Watch GT5 weighs 73 grams with the blue woven and silicone strap. And if I put on here the leather strap of the Watch GT4, you can see that one is 61 grams. Not really a fair comparison considering these straps are very different. So the watch has a hexagon design to it. It's got the stainless steel frame. The build quality is excellent. The screen is completely flush, so you can see that it's not raised up. There's no annoying lip or anything. Now this is an OLED screen, and it is completely fully laminated, so you're not going to see any ugly gap between the glass and the digitizer glass on the top and then that AMOLED below. 1.43 inches. And the resolution the same as the previous one, so that's 466 by 466, giving us that 326 ppi with it. This is again the 46mm version here with it. So the buttons we've got on the side here, our crown there, that of course you can move up and down for controlling things like the volume and whatnot. Zoom when you're in the app, so you can use it for that. Now the haptics on the watch do feel very good. You get a nice strong pulse. It is, I think, good enough to wake you up for alarms, which has been doing just fine for me. I use my watch as my alarm, and I've had no problems with that. You've got all your apps, which I'll get into shortly, but right now I'm looking at the design here. So a button down here, this serves as our ECG, okay? Now, if you've got the Pro model, that is actually certified too as well, so that's a very accurate ECG, but with this version too, the GT5, they've also improved upon that. The button does double as a customizable button, but right now I've got it set up for my workout modes here. Again, I will go through those shortly. So the strap here, let's take a look. This is the woven blue one. So it's a combination of silicone, which is safe for your skin. It's not going to irritate you, and fabric in there, and the stitching. I think it looks great. It's very good. Build quality, typical Huawei here. It's exceptional. There's no flaws. I cannot fault it at all. So stainless steel with the buckle. That's all stainless steel. Again, there's no rough edges. There's no poor quality with this at all. The build is exceptionally good, which I've come to expect from them. Now, I like this release here. It's just the push button one instead of that latch that you have with the GT4 style, Watch GT4 style straps, which I find a little bit fiddly. I don't particularly like that one. And the evolved sensor and technology that is here on the back of it, a group of sensors. So the TruSense launch, I was there in China for that, and they have really improved the accuracy of their wearables. Now, there's a lot of effort going into this from Huawei. I even went to the labs, and it was an impressive setup. I saw people there running. They had swimmers, rock climbing, you name it. Even ping pong, badminton, all sorts of sports covered, including golf. So they can get all that information and data they need to improve the accuracy. So they have on the back here now a cutting-edge glass darkening. So what this is a smart glass that shields light. It makes it just more efficient, suppresses any crosstalk interference, enhances the signal for our reading accuracy, and they are using a multi-region optical path design. So there's a lot packed into this. In layman's terms here, just to simplify things, they've really improved the accuracy of the sensors. 4 channels with the previous generation when it came to the oxygen blood channels that it was reading, and now it's 12, and you can see the difference. Let's just bring the Watch GT4 into the shot here. See how now with the Watch GT5, it's just so much clearer. Huawei changed the antenna design. Now it is their new sunflower antenna, and that does improve the positioning and enhances it, so it's way more accurate than what it used to be before. They've also changed our ECG, and if you get the Pro model, this is now medically certified, the ECG analysis that it does have, and that's from this button here. The Watch GT5's AMOLED screen here with that 466 by 466 resolution. AMOLED looks very good. Now, it is bright indirect sunlight. Yes, you can make it out just fine. Touch response has been good. It does not feel laggy. As you can see now, all the menus operate well, and I'm not noticing any slowdown. These are all the applications, and I won't go through all of them, but you can see here we have our barometer, alarms, timer, stopwatch, your music that you can store on board with this. You can also pair up things like headphones and whatnot to the watch itself. Play the music tracks back as you're training. Very handy feature. Skin, body temperature, your heart rate monitoring in there. You've got your different workout modes, calories, blood saturation, oxygen levels, and the remote camera operator too there that you can use that as the shutter, as a calculator app too that is pretty handy. Now there is supposed to be a full on-screen keyboard to reply to your text messages, notifications and whatnot. Notifications, if you swipe up, you see them. And so far, it seems that no matter what I do, maybe I'm doing something wrong, we cannot seem to reply just yet. No can replies either. So I've got a feeling it's not available just yet, but it is coming with a firmware update. Now, the watch faces, you can change them. I like this one here because it gives me so much information. So I've got all my battery life there. You've got the dual watch there. I can see even the time in London. You can see the altitude and the weather too, weather information, sunset, sunrise, which is all very handy. I like to have all this information here. And of course, the date and the time is all there. Now, the watch faces, there's a couple of new custom ones we've got now with the GT5. We get that with all the new watches when they come through. Then you have some custom watch faces. You can customize a lot of them, and you can go through the application, download new ones, and sync them then with the phone. So there's a lot of different watch faces in there. And of course, you just choose the one that fits your current mood or the one that you prefer. And I'm going to go back to this one because I just like having so much information. Although this one I do like as well. Shows me my last workout and how I was, where I went and everything with the maps. Now, there are maps now with the workouts. It can show you that with an offline map on the watch's screen as well, which is very useful. So tapping this button, you go to all your different apps, double tap, it will bring you to your recent apps. And then you can quickly swap between whatever apps you do have open. Now, there is NFC on board. There is a wallet, but of course, we're not going to have Google Pay with this. Google Wallet, no, that's not going to be functioning, unfortunately. Now, it does have with this as well a battery runtime that's really impressive. You can get up to about 15 days. I typically see about 10. Now, using the GPS, just to comment on that now, you can see I've already done that with a workout and be on a little bit more about that soon in the video. You'll see about 6% loss, 6 to 7, with all the tracking on, GPS on, monitoring, health, heart rate, all of it per hour, which I think is pretty damn good. That's impressive battery life. It really is just so much better than Wear OS or the Apple Watches out there, and a key reason to go for it. So let's just go back again, and I'll show you that if you swipe down, you get all your toggles. So sleep, do not disturb modes, find my phone, alarm from there, shortcut. Settings, drain. So if you're being for a swim, it makes a noise to help empty the speaker, which is yes, right there. So just like the previous model, microphone's on the other side there. And let's go into the settings. So the display brightness, you can make it out in direct sunlight. It's really good. You've got automatic ambient light sensor mode. You can control it manually yourself. You can control the timeout of that screen too as well. Or if you want, you can set it all manually, whatever times you want. Now, offline maps are all in there. Vibration, haptic feedback, very good. Just to briefly talk about that. I don't want this video to drag on for too long because a lot of these are pretty self-explanatory. We have updates there too as well. So there's a lot in there. And if you now swipe this way, Smart Assistant, swiping the other way, you've got our little bars that we need to fill up. So I've done my calories there, burnt 727 with my workout today. Movement is 84, and standing, being stationary, I've got a 9 for that rating there. So if you can fill those bars, you've been a good boy or girl and kept yourself active, and you are being very health conscious, which is good. Speaking of which, you've got all your blood oxygen saturation levels there, your body, heart rate, and all that information is all in here too as well. Now, this, you can customize it if you want to do so. So it's great that they do give us a lot of options with that. And if you keep going, you've got your calendar right there, phone, music that you've loaded on, the temperature, the weather right there, and different various workouts too as well, and even the lunar cycle. So there's just a lot in this, and the performance, as you've seen right now, it's very good. It's not lagging on me at all. It's definitely running at 60 frames per second at 60 hertz, at least when I am using it here. All the animations do look really good. If you haven't seen my other Huawei Watch reviews, well, this is the part where I'm going to test out the GPS and the heart rate monitor. I'm taking a bike that is an e-bike, but I'm going to turn off the motor and do some climb tests also to test out my peak heart rate and what I typically get. All right, I'm at a steep climbing point here now, and the bike, I have the pedal assistance turned off, so this is all just manual pedaling. I'm going to climb up this hill, and I'm going to push it as hard as I can to test out my peak heart rate. All right, so this is very hard going in the lowest gear, pushing as hard as I can. Let's take a look at that heart rate. So it's 137 at the moment.
3 kilometers. Current heart rate, 96 beats per minute.
Okay, so the voice feedback that you get, I think it's every 5 kilometers I've got it set to. It's working well. You do hear it, it's loud and clear. Okay, so it's time for me to ride all the way back now and take a look at what the results are that I get with the app. In total, I rode 18.24 kilometers here. You can see it was 1 hour and 23 minutes. And I only lost 6% battery in that time, which I thought was fantastic for having all the tracking on, heart rate monitoring, and the GPS, of course. Now, looking at this, we don't want to see any zigzag lines here. That would mean that the GPS tracking was kind of bouncing all over the place. It wasn't that accurate. But you can see it was that accurate that the lines show where I was riding on the other side of the road, because I rode on, of course, one side going there, then swapped to the other side riding back. So I was going with the flow of the traffic, and it's that accurate that it did manage to show all of that, which is very good. Right at the end where I did a little bit of a loop around. So it's all checking out there for where I rode. This is a typical ride for me, and I do know what it's like. So I didn't see here any funny patches where it's suddenly gone to a right angle or a zigzag or something. No, it looks very good. Speed, okay, this has broken it down into the different segments, as you see from the route that I took there. And the slower areas, that's when I stopped to take some footage. That's normal. It's not a fault of the watch or anything. Charts, we've got information on my heart rate. So as I mentioned, and I showed you that I pushed it quite hard with that climb. In fact, maybe a little bit too hard. Got up to 172 on the heart rate. And I was 13 minutes in the extreme workout. And you can see that right there. So it's got all that detailed information. There looks to be a bit of a dip right there, but that was, I think, when I stopped to, again, record some footage. Otherwise, there wouldn't really be those dips. I would continue to ride, with my typical ride that I do. So the speeds marked there, heart rate recovery. This is not accurate because you're supposed to stand still for the 2 minutes, and I forgot to do that. I just continued to do stuff, so that's my fault. Otherwise, you should see my heart rate slowly dropping down there. Otherwise, my recovery is terrible when you look at that. You can see there the elevation too is another thing I do like as a bike rider to see that climb and the altitude I got up to, and then it dropped down. So it all checks out. And then when I rode back home is another fairly steep, steady climb. So details finally tells me my calories, average heart rate, total descent, ascent, average speed, and performance, and all the different fitness zones that I was in. So that is great. It looks accurate, plenty of information, and I do like what I'm seeing here. So in terms of health monitoring, what do we have? So your body temperature, it even measures your stress levels, your sleep with TruSleep monitoring, and of course your heart rate, ECG. Now this can be a continual ECG too as well, and the medical certified one is with the Pro model only, not the GT5 normal model that I have right here, 46mm version. So I jump into heart rate. Okay, I've only just started to wear the watch again, and it will start to measure that, and I can go and manually check on my heart rate now too as well. If I jump through here, and there's a way to do the heart rate. Okay, no, it's there right now, so 95 beats per minute. Sorry, it was already measuring it. And blood saturation, oxygen saturation levels. Let's go and take a look at that. So, okay, it's giving me a little disclaimer there. Okay, it's not a medical device. 96% currently, and it will be continually measuring that. As you can see now, I've just manually triggered it. So there we go, 98%. So that's very good. My heart rate is 96, so a little high probably because I'm moving about and talking here in the office. Looking at the workouts that we do have with the watch. Now at the top here, it's telling me my recovery time. That's because I just went for a cycle that I think was about 17 or close to 17 kilometers. You have your courses and plans here, right? So there's running courses, training plans that you can go through. If you just swipe there from, you can see from the left to the right, that's to go back with the touch controls here. Route draw, you've got your outdoor run, track run, outdoor walk, outdoor cycling, indoors as well, pool swimming, open swimming. I haven't tested out this swimming yet. I just simply haven't had time, but I have done a short jog on that cycle that's going to be in this video too that I'm going to show you. Mountain hiking, trail run, skiing, snowboarding, cross-country skiing, triathlon, and you've got different options here and there. So mistouch prevention too as well. This is through all of the workouts. You can set that. Elliptical trainer, rowing, other custom workout settings. So this is where you can get the broadcast, which I do like. You can set how loud they're going to be. You can also set the interval of them. Whoops, I just went out of everything right there. Okay, so you can set it to be always on when you're training, auto detect workouts, and the shortcut too, and our location services. Now, our application is called Huawei Health, and it does work with Huawei phones, obviously, Android phones, and Apple, so iOS. So you don't need to have one of these. A lot of people in the videos before previously said, oh, I need a Huawei phone, don't I, for it to work? No, any Android phone, any iPhone, it is going to work. So I'll quickly run over this. This is the information you're going to get once you sync your watch with the phone. You can see, for example, here your exercise records. You can see the health covers right there. That's also on the watch. Your sleep information. Let's take a little bit of a look at this. So I can see here last night's sleep was not that good because it did warn me that my deep sleep was quite low, making up only 16%. It rates us here out of 100 points. So I got 82, not amazing. 7 hours and 14 minutes. I can see the previous days right here. That one was a little bit better, more deep sleep, but I did wake up 3 times. And further down the track, I can also view, of course, the rest of the week. Any night that you're wearing the watch and you've got all the settings enabled, so TruSleep is going to be measuring that there for you. Same with heart rate. When you're wearing it constantly, you can see all of that different information there per day, week, month. It's all there. You add your different watches through devices here. You have then information about you, your own profile, and a lot of different settings in there. You can discover various different exercises and whatnot, although I've got my internet disconnected at the moment. Otherwise, that would be then showing up there. So there's running plans that they have built in there too. A lot of information, your weight management, your stress levels, SpO2 information, skin temperature, and your health glance checks. So it's a fully featured health app, and you can even run the exercises through the application, not even use the watch. But if you want the, of course, heart rate monitoring, the GPS tracking, everything else, you need to do it through the watch, then sync it with the app.
And of course, you can place voice calls through your Huawei Watch GT5, and this is what the quality is like. It's actually very good, and I've handled calls on my watch with no issues.
So there we go, another fantastic watch here from Huawei. I'm a big fan of their watches, and for me it's always been, the biggest thing for me is the battery life. And this is where I think it just kills the competition with a Wear OS watches, right? Apple watches, you are not going to be able to get up to 14 days like the GT5 here. Now I typically see around 11%, 10% battery loss the time I've been using this, a whole day, and that will include just over an hour or so of GPS use training, that cycle that I went for. I have the continual heart rate monitoring on, skin temperature monitor, and the blood oxygen saturation levels. All of that is on, and that battery life is still absolutely fantastic, getting the notifications on screen. So at the time of this video, I haven't been able to reply with a on-screen keyboard, full on-screen keyboard, but that is going to be coming with the watch. It's just not available currently because I have a pre-release unit that's going to be there. And you can also use emojis and whatnot with that too, which is going to be great. Now, payments on this, there is a wallet service, but it's not Wear OS, and you can't use your typical NFC payments with this watch. So that is the downside to this, but I normally have my phone with me, so I do the payments that way. For me at least, it's not a biggie, but there is that. That's the really only, I think, the con to this particular watch here. Price-wise, it's similar to the competition, but again, you're getting that battery life. Build quality is excellent. All of the tracking, the improvements to the GPS accuracy, TruSense with its really good accuracy now that they've really upped their game, Huawei. So a fantastic premium wearable. If you want all of those sports tracking features and that amazing battery life, then I highly recommend the Watch GT5. Thanks a lot for watching this review.